Thanks for joining us here at Island Girl Creative Studio. We're doing online tutorials with our 12 by 12 canvases just to go hand in hand with the kits that you're purchasing online. If you're going online to www.islandgirlcreativestudio.com, hit the shop button and you'll be able to purchase these canvases. You choose your design. They are pre-traced. They come with all of the paints that you need and your paintbrushes. Now to get started with this particular painting, there aren't a lot of colors included, but we don't need a whole lot to get it done. So what I suggest is you take, there's just a bucket of that yellow. We're going to add a little bit of that dark green color that you see on here to the yellow to make it more of like a springy green yellowy color. And you're going to go ahead and go around the panda using your sponge brush and applying that paint in a up and down motion like this. Don't forget to go around the edges, and you can see a little more of the actual color on the sides. Completely cover it. Once it is covered up to the panda, again, we don't have to go into the panda, just up to the panda. Then we're going to take our flat brush, we're going to touch the dark green paint, and we're going to literally lay it flat and just pull it down the canvas, making some breaks. This is the bamboo forest behind your panda. So just go ahead and pull some of it, and don't forget to make some breaks because they're not just long sticks, they have little breaks in them. So it's just interesting when you're pulling that paint, just pull it down right behind your panda. Now another thing you want to do is put a few little leaves on that bamboo. You're just going to take your brush on its skinny side and just slice some of those in. Just slice a few. All right. So moving on, we're going to paint our panda, and he's only black and white, but if you notice he's got a little bit of gray in his face, and that is going to be made on the canvas. You don't actually have to pre-mix it. So starting with the white paint, we're going to paint his face white first. Don't worry about going around over the lines or anything. We're just going to get white on his face. Just get him nice and white. Then when you're done with that, we're going to put the black on his cheeks. So you're going to wash off your brush, and we're going to paint this black space right here, 1 and 2. Also include his nose in that while you're at it. And don't worry about the details because we're going to put those in just a moment. Now once those are painted, you're going to go ahead and paint in his ears, keeping in mind that we're going to make them fuzzy, so you don't have to make a perfect circle or follow the lines incredibly close because we're going to go ahead and make it fluffy. And the way we do that is we pick up a lot of that black paint with the same brush that we're just using, and we're just going to pounce it on the edge. Pouncing that paint on there makes it look fluffy because it goes over just a little bit. And then you go in the center and you can get a little bit more aggressive with that, making texture. So you can have texture in there. You can actually feel the paint when you have texture on it. Just like that. All right. So now we're going to move down below, and we're going to go ahead and paint the panda black down below too. So all those pieces, trying to skip over the leaves and the bamboo. Outline the bamboo and just paint below. Black, black, black. You will notice that he does have a hand here holding onto the bamboo. I suggest that when you're painting it black, that you just make sure to change the direction of your paint when you paint his black hand in. That way you'll see the difference on the canvas when you're done painting. When you're done painting this all in black, go ahead into the edges and you can make him fuzzy by just pulling some little eyelashes, like I like to call, off the side of him like this. And that just kind of gives him a little bit of fuzz. A little bit of fuzz. All right, so we can wash our brush off and we can move on to the bamboo now. So the bamboo is going to be the base color of the green. So you're going to have this green color, and you're just going to fill it in with the base color, doing the sections, because making sure to give each section its own little painting keeps it separate. You can also paint in those leaves at the same time so that you can get that nice green color on them. The trick to this is that we're actually going to add on the lighter yellow color and the darker green color. So the lighter yellow color, you're just going to take the brush on its side and just push that light color right on the top of each of those bamboos and the top of each of those leaves. After you do that, you're going to clean your brush off, grab the darker color, and you're going to do the same thing on the bottom of the bamboo. We're just going to put a nice slice of that dark color and on all the leaves. While the paint's still wet, go ahead and put those little breaks in our bamboo, and then it will look like it's got each of those little segmented sections. Wash your brush off, and now let's go back into Panda's face. So what we want to do is take a tiny bit of water, and we're going to wipe it in this area of his eyeball. So where his eyeball should sit, we're just going to go ahead and make it a little bit lighter than it is, so that way we have a place to put a really nice black eyeball in. Don't let the water drip, so don't let too much of it in there. So your brush is now going to have a tiny bit of black on it. You're going to dab a little bit of white, and this is where you're going to give him a little bit of that texture, and that it makes it look 3D when you pull it around his face like this. So you can see it gets a little darker under his nose area because it's a little closer. Now wash your brush off, grab some of that white paint, and now since these are dry, we're going to put his fuzziness on top. And that's all just by pulling that white paint off of and over some of his ear, off of into the bamboo, around his face like this, and on his chin hairs, all the way down his chin, chinny chin chin. Super cute. You can also put a little smear of white right on his nose to make it look like it's moist. To do his eyeball, we take the back of our paintbrush, dip it in the black, and we just put a nice round marble in that little area that we created on his cheek. And then dip it in the white to put the soul on the panda. Bink, bink, just little white dots right there and there. And the last thing you're going to do is, once it's completely dry, you're going to use a Sharpie or a marker to just line his little lips. So just this little line right here. I highly suggest using a marker and not painting it, because painting can get a little bit too big or the brush could splay out a little bit. We want a very nice smooth line for that. Oh, another thing you can do is you can take a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of dark, dark, dark gray, and you can make it a little bit hairy along his hand, so it makes it look like his hand is separate from his body. I did that by making the paint swirl this way as opposed to just coming down. You can't see, I'm sure you can't see it in the camera, but when you are painting it, you can see the different lines that you put in the paint. So just swirl it in a circle, and then just make it hairy with a little bit of the gray. Tiny, tiny, tiny bit down. And voila, there's your panda. So again, if you have any questions or you need any more further detailed instructions, you can find me on Facebook at Island Girl Paint Party or Island Girl Creative Studio. I'd really love it if you could subscribe and like my video. I'm going to continue to post more and help you get creative. Looking forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.